I don't know. I haven't got my book here.
Brad Pitt. Did you enjoy his accent? Hey, his deep Tennessean accent.
Oh yes, it's right and correct, and I am wrong.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, that was fun. Yeah, look, I just wanted something a little light and connecting us back to movies because I think I've been getting a little on the political side of late. I've been getting a bit carried away.
You don't say.
What are you trying to say?
I'm not saying anything. There you go.
All right. Well, okay. Right. Hotel Mumbai.
You put this up.
I did. And you know what? I'm glad I did.
Namaste. Thank you. Hope you'll have a good stay.
Remember always, here at the Taj,
Where's my little boy?
guest is God. Let's move.
In Mumbai, with multiple bombings and armed gunmen rampaging through the city.
Look, I don't think you understand. There's been an attack and we're not safe. Switch off the lights. Under the tables.
Terrorists have laid siege to the landmark Taj, with as many as 1,000 guests and over 500 staff trapped inside.
We should try to gather whoever we can. Many of you have families at home. There is no shame in leaving.
I've been here 35 years. This is my home.
Local police are simply not trained to deal with attacks of this magnitude.
Don't open the door, it's them! Out!
My kid's upstairs. Do you have a family?
Yes. And I hope to stay alive and see them.
No one's coming from us.
We go down the back stairs and straight out the service exit.
If they hear us, we'll all die.
We take our chances.
I'm scared.
We all are. But to get through this, we must stick together.
What an anticlimax. I was waiting for the gunfire.
That was a better trailer.
Okay, Pip. No, I'll tell you what. You stay quiet for a minute. Would you like to say something?
Well, okay, let people know what it is, this film.
Oh, so okay. So it's essentially, this is a terrorist attack that happened back in
2008.
That's correct. And it didn't get a lot of airplay because it didn't happen in a first world country. But an awful lot of people were killed. It was a devastating terrorist attack.
It was over 100 people.
Yes. It was a big thing. It was a very big thing. Okay. Now.
It's only come out now, 10 years afterwards.
Yes, but and it was an Australian. It was actually helped along by an Australian company, so I don't know how much they had involved.
So they'll lose points because it was directed by an Australian.
Do I call it an Australian film though? I don't know if I do.
I thought as soon as it was any Aussies were involved, it lost
No.
points.
No.
Okay, well explain the Aussie thing to me then.
When it's about Australia, in Australia, by Australians.
Okay, because I'm
I
sure.
don't look at this film and go, gosh, I feel patriotic about this.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
It's shot in India.
No, I know that. And it's
about an incident that happened in India,
Now,
in Mumbai.
I've been to India.
I haven't.
I was there a year after this happened.
A year after?
Oh, no, wait. No, sorry. I was there a year before. I went to Vietnam and a year after.
Okay.
Yep. So yes, we were in there, and we had an awful time in India, and then we came out of there, and we thought, well, that was extraordinarily dangerous. And then you see 12 months later, all of India just getting gunned down by...
But you weren't in the city sections. You were out in the countryside, weren't you?
Yes, we were held captive out there, yes.
Don't say it like that.
Well, we were staying with our Indian family, and we called it the compound because it was a fortification more than anything else, and they kept us in, and we weren't allowed out by ourselves.
When he says we and us, he
I
means
was
him.
the family that I was married into at the time. At the time, you like that?
I do.
That's the transience of my life. Yes.
But this was based on what happened in 2008. It was also based on a 2009 documentary called Surviving Mumbai.
Yes. Now,
it's come out in 2018.
That's correct. Yes,
that is correct, Pip.
No, well, it's a fairly recent film, and
yes.
Can I just say, considering I was there only a year before, the authenticity of it was bang on. Like, I wasn't in Delhi, I wasn't in one of the really, really big cities, but I was in Jalandhar, and I was at there was another big one. It was way over in the Pakistan border, and I can't remember it for the life of me at the moment. Amritsar.
Okay, well,
yeah, okay.
Paul,
yes.
You put this film up. What did you think?
Well, first of all, it took me back to India, and I always like it because India is one of those weird places. If you haven't been to India, it's kind of like going to your first horror movie. In that, it frightens the shit out of you. It astonishes you. You see things that you've never seen before. You don't want it to continue. You want to get out of there, and yet you spend the next 20 years thinking about it all the time with a certain level of fondness. We couldn't get out of the place fast enough when we were in India.
Was that just on your experience?
Partly, and it was also because of the lack of control that we had. And if I went to India the next time, I would have learnt my lessons and gone on my own or with somebody else who's independent and not dependent on anybody else. That was the problem with India. You can't depend on anyone. And why I bring this up, and you think, well, where's he going with all this? The people who were displayed at the Hotel Taj, who were so helpful, they were so reliable, was the ultimate antithesis of my experience in India. So there was a real disconnect for me watching this film.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Not really, no.
What I'm trying to say is the people who were in this film did not... I'm sure that's exactly what they were like because it was high. It was a high level.
It was a
high service.
It was like a 5-star hotel.
Yes, it was a high service kind of environment. Whereas with most of India, do not require service. You do not because you won't get it. You know, if you want to stand in a line, you'll be there for like 13 hours. It's just everything. There's a name for it. It's called Indian time. And everything runs to Indian time, and it's when they get around to it.
Yeah, but I imagine most people who visit India they have the 5-star treatment, as per this motel.
Well, it harkens back to the Raj, doesn't it? The British Raj, and I think that's what that is marketed to give that kind of experience. And they need an awful lot of people who don't get paid a lot of wages in order to do that. You know.
I haven't been to India. My mum has. And
it would be interesting if she watched this, and I'd be very interested.
I'm actually going to suggest that she watch it.
Yes, let's do a reverse on her. Karen, go out and give us a review of Hotel Mumbai.
She's given me a list of films. I'm like, I'm going to say she should watch this.
You pick some odd films though, but yeah, no. Tell her I said to watch this one. Then
I think she should.
Yes.
But when she was similar to you, not in the whole trapment thing, but as per her work, she actually spent 3 weeks out in the countryside, helping out in areas she was actually doing for work. And
Don't get me wrong, but I know I sound kind of very down on India.
You do.
I know I do, but it was just such a...
But that was only your experience.
It was my experience, but I loved the place at the same time. Like, we were stepping over dead bodies, for God's sake. It was just... That's what I mean. You raise your eyelids, but it was such an affront to the senses. You have no idea of the place. When you come from a first world Western country and you go to a place like India, it's a smack in the teeth. It really is. And all your perceptions are all just stripped away and you have to start all over again in the way you think. It changes you as a person.
But in regard to this film, what did you think?
I think it was very authentic. That's what I was trying to get at. Like, I know I'm going around in circles here.
You start off in...
but you want to feel like you want it to give you a flavour of India.
Well, you start off in Argan's house.
Yes.
And he's there making himself look
That's right.
presentable.
Yes, and he's as poor as shit.
I was about to say his house is... Oh...
A hovel?
A hovel.
No, that's middle class.
No, I got that.
Yes.
And
he's doing all right.
And he's going to his wife with their daughter.
Yeah.
And she's working in a sweatshop.
Yeah.
Is that the best word I can use?
That's it. Yep.
And he's spending out,
And
ages getting his everything looking just right.
And they're doing fine. Like where we live, where we stayed, and we were there for about 3 weeks, sort of thing. I was just appalled by how hard the women there had to work. Like the men did stuff all that I could see. They were sitting around, scratching their asses for the most part. But the women were like up at 4 a.m, doing all the chores, and they'd keep going till about 11 at night.
You were out in the country.
Well, we were. We were at a small little town called Kopatui, I should say. And, yeah, the whole village was poor.
So you thought this film was authentic? I'm just dragging you back.
Would you like to see the slides?
No, I don't want to see the slides.
I'm getting a lot of crackle here. I wonder if it's actually...
I think it's too loud. What I would like to know, Paul, is what you actually thought of the film.
I loved it.
You loved it?
I loved it. I really thought it was good. And you know why I loved it?
Why?
Because here was a hero who wasn't toting a gun. I don't have to elaborate on that. I'm just so happy to see somebody who was shown as a courageous, brave person who didn't pick up an AK-47 and just shoot everybody.
There was more than one hero.
Well, that's right. And there were people who were almost heroes and not quite heroes, and there was the whole gamut of human experience in that.
So for people out there who are listening to us, there was six men.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. So some men attacked different places in Mumbai.
Yep.
And basically herded people to this hotel, and the hotel have let people in to protect them, and they've snuck in with them.
Yep.
And they've basically gone around and started shooting people.
And we've all seen Die Hard, and Die Hard wasn't a patch on this for hotel brutality, was it?
In completely different film. You get to see how different people respond.
Yep.
And the fact that these people who work there, like there's women there who have said, I'm just not going to ring these people to say to open their doors to you, and they've got shot.
Yep.
It was very...
Yeah, tell me something, Pip. When the nanny was in the cupboard with the baby and she had a hand over the baby's mouth...
I was so worried that the baby was going to be
We all knew
killed.
what was going to happen there. And I'm not going to spoil it. But I mean to say...
Did.
No. You didn't say what happened at the end of it. But that's... Did you? You did.
I just said I thought the baby would die, which...
Oh, good on you.
Sorry. It reminded me of Quigley. Which is bad, isn't it?
I just sit there and go, well, this isn't going to end well. And then I realised it was based on a real story, not necessarily just a tired old trope.
No, it's just based on a reality that actually happened.
So, but I was nervous as shit for the kid.
I know.
It was very, very tense. So tense-wise, it was brilliant.
It was shot well. There was never a point that I thought was wasted time.
Violence-wise, it was utterly Tarantino.
No.
No, it was.
It was not.
It really, really was.
It was not. It was. I actually thought it was done in a realistic, tasteful way.